Hello everyone, this is Gregory. It is currently 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this is my analysis for June 14th. I want to talk about the Euro trade last night very briefly before I get into my analysis. Here we go. Okay, initially I was discussing a possible shorting opportunity right around here. And I did not take the trade. And remember, I was talking about I was looking for a price pattern, something that would indicate that the market was going to sell off this level, and I never got that. I was also talking about a possibility that if price actually broke through here, that we would have a nice buying opportunity, but you have to reevaluate because I wasn't really sure how strong the break would have been. So that's the toughest thing about making a short-term video, is because so much can happen within a couple of hours. And so it's actually more difficult for me to make a real-time video with a short-term bias, especially trading the hour charts, because well, I can do it, but the video wouldn't be uploaded until later, because if I try to do it in real time, predicting it before it happened and then posting it and uploading it, it'll just be too much, and it's too much of a distraction. I would have to have some type of trading room or something like that in order to accomplish that. But in order to post a video beforehand with short-term analysis is extremely difficult, and it is better to do that with the daily charts. So this is the hourly chart, and we approached a resistance level. I did not get the signal that I was looking for, and price broke through. And so this is actually a good trade setup as well. This is a inverted head and shoulders pattern. Okay, from top to bottom here is 70 pips. So the magnitude of the breakout, what you do is you basically double it. Okay, so if the breakout occurs, you're looking for this target to be hit. Now, normally when resistance turns into support, as you can see, we had this resistance area, the market broke through. A lot of times it's very safe for you to buy on a touch. You can place your limit to buy here. Market drops down, you buy on the exact level at 25.13, and then you hit your targets and you place your stop I placed my stop right beneath this bar. It's about a 20 pip stop, and my target was only about 35 pips away, so it wasn't quite 2 to 1. Actually, it's probably like 1.5 to 1, something like that. Probably a little less than that, but I knew it was a high probable trade. If you saw my analysis from early in the week when we filled this gap, I was targeting 25.50 as my target. And as you can see, once we broke through, price respected it for 3 hours. It tested it 3 times, and the market kept coming down further. So I had a feeling that once we got to this point again, that price was going to be respected, at least for the short term. So I wanted to squeeze out 35 pips. And so I was able to get that within an hour or two. So it was a pretty good trade, and I was able to walk away with 35 pips, but I wasn't done. Normally, when the resistance is broken and you buy on a touch, a lot of times the market is going to give you another opportunity to buy again. So it's not the case all the times, but a lot of times you can get 2 trades, 2 bounce trades off a previous resistance that's currently support. So I was hoping that price will pull back far enough to retest this area, then I can hit my second target. Now, remember the magnitude was 72 pips. At this particular level, there's really no confluence with anything, at least anything that I can see off the top of my head. At least not anything significant, maybe if I ran some fibs or something like that. But it's not really necessary. Now, the average daily range for the euro the past 5 or 6 weeks is roughly 110, 115 pips. So that lines up pretty close with the breakout magnitude. So we do have an area of convergence there. Now also the average daily range for the past 5 days is actually a lot higher. It's over 130 pips, which actually became the high of the day. So I'll get into that later. So I just wanted to show you what these lines were. So what I decided to do is I decided to play it safe, and I targeted 25.75 as my profit taking area. So that's only about 60 pips from my entry. So I risked 20 pips to make 60, which is over 3 to 1 reward to risk. And so I have to be right 25% of the time to break even. So it's a pretty good trade setup with relatively low risk. And I was really hoping that the market would come back to this area, because sometimes the market doesn't come back to the previous support area that you're looking to buy, and it just takes off. Like, for instance, imagine this black bar that I use to buy. Imagine that wasn't there. And imagine that this green bar was moved to the left for 1 bar. Now, if the market would have came back to that low and took off, I would have missed out on the trade. So yeah, that would have sucked, and it happens sometimes. But I was very fortunate that the market actually came all the way back and allowed me to rebuy this area and actually get into the trade. So I was able to profit my 60 pips. So once I initiated my trade, because this is very early in the morning for me, and I stay up pretty late doing my analysis, and so once I was able to get into this trade, I went to sleep, and so I placed my target a little bit beneath here. Now, if I was awake, I will probably trail my stop on a smaller time frame and see if I could squeeze out any additional profits. But that's neither here or there. You play the cards that you're dealt, and I definitely played mine, and I was able to squeeze out 95 pips for the day. So anytime the average daily range, especially over the past 5 days, it gets met, you can actually potentially do a counter trend strategy for the end of the day. Now, certain parameters have to be in place, and off the top of my head, I really don't see any parameters in place. Maybe the only thing is that it matched up with this high, but I don't know if that's significant enough. Maybe it is. I probably wouldn't have seen it in real time, especially being so early in the morning for me. But a lot of times, this is a good trade setup if you can catch it in time, and you can actually capture 30 or 40 pips in the opposite direction as the market pulls back. So yeah, so that was a pretty good trade. I was excited about that. So it's just very, very difficult for me to place these trades while they're happening, and then try to post it to the site before everything happens, because anything happens. So maybe it'd be better if I start recording the trades live, saving them, and then posting them later, maybe the next day, so that way you can look at it and learn, and you can still be able to hear my thought process in real time. So I'm gonna try to experiment with that strategy and see how that pans out. So yeah, so we would talk about different ways to actually do that. Now on a daily, now this is different, because if the market changes its sentiment over the course of the next day or two, we have time to actually place another video. So what I'm anticipating is that for price to actually hit these levels and retest. On Monday, we were talking about how this area was very significant because of the tweezer high. The market gapped above this area, and then it sold off. Remember, we caught it around this area, and we were anticipating a sell. If you did not see that video, definitely go take a look at it. I believe it was for the 11th. I think it was the 11th on Monday. So we actually sold this area. We pretty much caught the top of the move, and we sold it to the downside, and we made some pretty good profits off of that. So what I'm anticipating is for price to come around this area once again, and I'm looking for resistance to hold. And if it holds, I'm looking for any type of rejection. I'm looking for a price to make a high and fail and look something like this, or look something like that. I'm looking for any type of formation like that. If I get that, if the market rejects this area, it's pretty safe to start selling to the downside and start targeting these lows for the next day or two. So that's what I'm anticipating for the euro. Now, just like with the hourly, if price happens to break through this area, let's say a huge green bar forms, okay, then I'm looking to buy the new support area, because resistance turns into support, okay, and you're looking to buy here, you can actually buy on a touch and place your stop beneath this bar. And once you do that, you can actually target the high up here. So that'll be a pretty good strategy, but I'm not going to focus on that right now, because it really just depends on how this bar closes on the day. There's so many things that can happen, but right now that's the only possible scenario that I would think of to go long in any way. So right now my bias is to the short side, but I'm not looking to sell yet. I'm looking for this area to be tested. I wanted to confirm my bias, and then once everything is confirmed, I'm looking for some selling to the short side. So my sentiment has not changed for gold. It's actually extremely similar to the euro. Last night I was talking about the same thing, so we are very close to testing this area, and I'm looking for a failure. Okay, as you can see, the market has tested this area many times, and the market has failed many times. So I'm looking for it to happen again. Until the market shows me something different, then I'm going to keep doing the same thing. So if this area can hold, okay, and if it can reverse on the daily, if it reverses and it holds, then I'm looking to sell gold to the short side, and my target would be here at 1580. So it'll be a pretty good profit taking area with relatively small risk, because if this reverses and it looks like this, because remember, we caught this trade last week. I don't know if you guys remember that, but we actually caught that, and it was a pretty good trade. The market came down like 700 pips. So if this happens again, hey, let's try to squeeze out some more profits. See, we have this convergence area of the previous support that's now resistance. We have this trend line all converging at one area. So I really do not believe that the market can be strong enough to actually penetrate this and close in a convincing manner and take out this high. And if it does that, that is a very strong move. So since I do not anticipate for price to do that, it has to fail off this area. And once the failure is confirmed, then I'm looking to sell gold for the short term, or the next day, couple of days or whatnot, and target 1580 as my profit taking area. So that's my analysis for the gold and euro. Let me talk about the Aussie very quick here. The Aussie is very similar. We are actually approaching parity. We approached it 3 times and it failed. So right now I'm looking for a selling opportunity with that as well. If you go down to the hourly, you can actually time your trade. If we hit this area at 99.67, I believe that is. Yeah, 99.67, we should have a pretty good opportunity to sell to the downside. Okay, but you have to wait until price confirms. And if it doesn't confirm, if it keeps going higher, then we scratch the trade and we look for an alternative strategy. But as of right now, that's my bias, and hopefully I can get in at a pretty good price and ride this to the downside. So if we look at the daily, so you can probably target the bottom here, somewhere around there. So it seems that all of the USD pairs are lining up in sync. If you guys do not know, gold is actually a leading indicator for the Aussie. So sometimes the gold will actually lead the Aussie by a day or two. It's not the case all the time, but since gold is a major commodity in Australia, they tend to have similar price patterns, but obviously gold has a wider range as far as its daily value. So that's it for June 14th. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be making an update at the end of the week as well. Thanks, guys. Take care.